Hey guys, Mitch here. If you are starting off on your fitness journey, you have modest fitness goals, you want to maybe drop a couple pounds, or you just want to stay healthy, and you want to avoid all the fads and the extremists, then you're in the right spot. I've got a whole guide with my top 10 tips. So if you want to get a hold of that, you can check out the link that is below and get that guide for free. But today we're going to go over one tip, and we're going to be talking about hunger and how to manage your hunger, because when it comes to your food and you're thinking about how to eat and eating healthier foods, many times what happens for a lot of people is they get hungry and then they cave in and eat a bunch of junk food, and that's kind of like the pattern. You try to eat clean, you're trying to be doing a good job, you get so hungry you need something different, and then you crash and burn and eat a whole bunch of stuff. So let's talk about that, because it really doesn't have to be this huge thing to do. Managing hunger is actually quite easy, and you're always going to get hungry because it's just a natural cue of the body to start eating food. So we're not trying to eliminate it completely, but it shouldn't be controlling your life. And if it is, this is definitely going to help you. So I want to let you know that like my background with this, when I was in my teens, I was competing in boxing, and I was also just participating in sports, and I was hungry all the time. Like literally every 2 hours on the clock, I'd be so hungry and I'd have to eat something. And it was just out of control. I was eating a ton of food. Luckily, I had a high metabolism. I was also doing a lot of activity, so I didn't gain a lot of weight, but I was constantly hungry, constantly looking for food. And so that was a big thing for me. And after doing the things I'm going to tell you about today, I could easily go 6 hours in between meals not feeling that hungry. You know, at the end of the 6 hours, I get a little hungry, and then I eat again, and it was fine. But it was just like this drastic thing for me, where hunger every 2 hours to having a big window of 5 to 6 hours that I'm fine. So I want to give you my top 3 tips about how to manage hunger. So here we go. The first one: add fats to your meals, healthy fats. Examples of healthy fats: nuts and seeds, avocados, coconuts, and olive oil. Those would be like my top 4 picks for good sources of fat. You really want to focus on this, because fat, when you eat and consume fat, it will slow down the digestion rate of your food. And so even if you didn't change anything else from what you're eating, if you added fat, it would just make it so you don't get hungry as quickly. It's really that simple. The food will digest slower, your body will be satisfied for longer, and you won't get hungry as quickly. The other thing about fat is that it's the easiest thing to miss. If you were gonna like go eat out somewhere at a restaurant, you will always have a protein source and a carb source. It's always there, but you don't always necessarily have a fat source. So I think for most people, this is gonna be the big thing to be aware of. Make sure you have a quality fat source in all of your meals, and you will definitely notice the difference. So that's the first one. Second one: always have a protein source. Pretty simple. It could be an animal source or a plant source, it's up to you. I'm a meat eater, so I'm gonna have lots of meat, and that is great as well. You need to have a good quality protein source. Same idea as the fat, it will slow down digestion, and I mean there's other things to it, but it's to make things simple, that's all it really needs. You just need something. A good portion for that would be like the size of your fist in every meal. Okay, so have a good portion of protein every meal. Then the third tip is to control carbohydrates. A lot of people are getting into like ketogenic type stuff, which is basically super low carb, and Carbs are not evil. So don't eliminate carbs. Don't go super low carb. You don't need to. You just need to control them and recognize that the amount of carbs you're eating and when you're eating them has to do with your activity level. So if you're close to activity, you're going to eat more carbs. If you're not having a lot of activity, don't eat as many carbs. Simplest source for low carb, slow digestion food is vegetables. Again, really simple. If you're going with like grains, you can go with rice, that's pretty good. But you just want to control the carb amount. A lot of people are like guzzling pop or just eating like super starchy foods all the time, or they're snacking on potato chips, or they're doing whatever, and that is carbohydrates out of control. Stick with your vegetables and fruits, and when you are close to activity, up the fruits and the starches, but it doesn't have to be anything insane. Okay, so if you follow those three things, you add some fat to your meal, you get a fistful of protein, and you just manage the carbs. You don't even have to eliminate them, you just gotta manage them. You will not be controlled by your hunger. You'll easily be able to go 5 hours, even 6, if you manage those things. Okay, so that's the tip for today. If you want to get the full guide with my top 10 tips, you can check out the link below and get that for free.